Hi there. So till now we have created three types of queue using list and linked list. First we have created queue by using Python list with no capacity. Then we have created queue using Python list with the capacity, which is called circular queue. Then we have created queue using linked list. So here I have combined all of them together to see the differences between in terms of time and space complexity. So based on this time and space complexity, you can choose which one is best for your application. Now here you can easily see that in terms of list with no capacity, enqueue and dequeue methods takes O(n) time complexity, which means that this is not preferable, because here when we enqueue element to the queue, we are using standard functionality of Python, which is list method called append. By using this, we can insert elements at the end of list, and when the default capacity reaches, relocation might occur, and this will take O(n) time complexity. Similarly, when we use the dequeue method for the queue with no capacity, here also we are using the standard functionality of the Python. So when we remove the first element from the list, all elements from the right have to shift one step left. That's why it takes O(n) time complexity. And this means that if we have more element in the queue, list with no capacity is not preferable. But if we have less element, we can select this queue over here. Now the next queue is circular queue. Here, as you can see, all complexities for these operations are O(1) time complexity. Only we have here O(n) space complexity, because we know that when we create Python list, the elements have to locate it contiguously in the memory. So if we set fixed size for this list, it will allocate space in the memory. That's why when we create it, the space complexity is O(n). So if you are planning to create an application in which you don't have memory problem, so you can use this circular queue over here. As you see, when we set the capacity limit, enqueue and dequeue method becomes O(1) time complexity. So here circular queue is better than the queue with no capacity, because here enqueue and dequeue performs very fast. So in terms of time complexity, circular queue is preferable. But in terms of space complexity, the list with no capacity is preferable. Now let's continue to the next queue. The next queue that we created is by using linked list. So here you see that all space and time complexities are O(1). So you might be interested why we are not selecting this one instead of this one. So here the problem is implementing of linked list is more complicated than these lists over here. So if you are okay with this, so you can use this. So here we don't have any space and time complexities problems. So the best option to create a queue is using linked list. But at the end, it depends on the type of application. As I said, if you have less elements in the queue, you can use this first queue from here with no capacity, because here you will use standard functionalities. But if you have more element and you don't have space problem, you can use circular queue. But if you don't want to deal with Python list, so you can implement it using linked list, which is the best option in this case. Now with this, we have completed this lecture. So here we have compared three types of queue, and we have talked about which one is better based on the condition. Now in the next lecture, let's use queue model to implement queue in Python.